Earth. After this video, we should no longer be having a discussion about people saying, "I've seen the curve of the Earth from my airplane window," or "from that Red Bull jump." After this video, you will now be considered uneducated and completely mind-programmed if you still think that you've seen the curve of the Earth. You see, all this time, the evidence has been right in front of your face. What you are seeing here is authentic footage of the flat Earth. At the heights of this video footage, we should be seeing tons of curvature according to you globe earthers who claim that you've seen the curve of the Earth from as low as an airplane window. Airplanes usually cap out at around 10 miles in the air. Footage from weather balloons usually are anywhere from 20 to 30 miles up in the air. The highest weather balloon has been reported to have reached a maximum of 33 miles in the air. So what I'm playing for you right here is weather balloon footage of the Earth without a curved lens filter on it. You see, the reason why all of you geniuses have claimed that you saw the curve of the Earth is because what you have been witnessing is a GoPro type camera lens. It's 100% debunkable when you say that you have seen the curve of the Earth, because the cameras that claim to show the curve of the Earth are designed to curve the footage of the horizon in order to supposedly show more of a panoramic view of the Earth. But what you are seeing right here is unedited footage of the Earth, and there is absolutely no curvature whatsoever. The flat Earth movement would not be around this long if it was as easy as saying that you looked out of an airplane window and saw the curve of the Earth. You see, after being programmed your whole life that you live on a ball Earth, you start to see things that aren't really there. And it's much easier to fool you with simple things like a GoPro fisheye lens because you're already pre-programmed to believe that you live on a ball Earth. The easiest way to spot out a fisheye lens is by paying close attention to the horizon. You'll notice that the horizon will fluctuate. Sometimes it will fluctuate convex and sometimes concave. And also another way to know that you're looking through a fisheye lens is you'll start to notice that even when the camera footage is very close to the Earth, no more than a mile or two above the ground, you'll still see the same type of curvature that you would see when it's 20 miles above the ground. So what that should tell you is that you're looking at a false curved image of the horizon. The name horizon itself means horizontal. The Earth is level. There is no evidence of a curved Earth. Weather balloons pop when they get around 33 miles up in the air due to the expansion of the balloon. And at that height, there's still no curvature. And so considering that most weather balloons are usually capturing footage of the Earth from anywhere from 20 to 30 miles in the air, hopefully one of you listeners out there can do the math and let us know how much curvature we should be seeing. And with all of the reports and evidence of there being a dome firmament above our heads with possible multiple layers, this dome is most likely going to be kind of like a domed arena. And so the maximum height that we can get footage of this Earth from is limited, because there seems to be a barrier above us where the footage will be maxed out. No one will be able to get to an elevation high enough in order to capture the entire circle of the flat Earth. There has been reports of a rocket that has reached about 70 miles up in the air, and even with that footage, we haven't seen any curvature of the Earth. So this footage right here is a big win for the Flat Earth Truth movement, because the flat Earth information has reemerged for about 5 years now, and nobody has came up with an authentic picture or footage of any curvature of the Earth whatsoever. If you're brand new to this flat Earth movement, I completely debunk all pictures of the Earth in this video I did called NASA Admits All Pictures of the Earth Are Fakes. And so the only thing you globe earthers really have is fake images and fake fisheye lens pictures of this Earth. There's absolutely no evidence that we live on a ball Earth. This footage right here, taken anywhere from 20 to 30 miles up in the air, completely debunks all of you who have said that you saw the curvature of the Earth from a plane, because most planes don't even reach 10 miles in the air. So here we are looking at footage of the Earth from 20 to 30 miles up in the air, and there is absolutely no curvature. And according to the globe Earth math, that shouldn't add up. And there's no way that flat Earth should be still in the ring after nearly 5 years. Nobody has been able to prove that we live on a globe Earth yet. So you globe earthers had about a 500-year head start on us flat earthers. So Really, this is a major victory for the Flat Earth movement and just shows you that there is no stopping this information. If you're out here claiming that you've seen the curve of the Earth, this video proves that you are uneducated about the place that you live. Now let's check out some more information that proves that we live on a flat Earth. So let's go over some of the reasons why the horizon proves flat Earth. Well, let's start off with the horizon always lays out flat. No matter where you see it, it's always flat. And a lot of times people view the horizon over water, and water is already proven to be flat because nobody can demonstrate water ever curving around the object. And that's also why they call it sea level, because the water is level all the time. There is never any curves in waters. So that also proves that the horizon is flat and indeed level. And in fact, there is no measurable curvature. And so the globe earth math formula of an 8-inch drop for every mile square is invalid and null and void, because that would mean in all directions there should be a drop. A significant drop once you start going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles. The more miles you go, the drop should be steeper and steeper according to the globe earth math. And so when you look at a horizon and you see the level, you're looking at about 30, 40 miles sometimes, depending on how far up you are and how far back you are. You can see pretty far as the miles concerned with the left or right horizon. So according to the Copernicus math, there should be significant noticeable drop on either side of that, but there never is. And so the horizon is really just the vanishing point where the sky meets the ground level because of how far the distance is. And things will shrink at that distance. And also with atmospheric distortion and atmospheric lensing, that will also massively distort the images. And sometimes even it will look like the bottom is cut off. But that all has to do with the atmospheric distortions. There's tons of water in the atmosphere. The air is actually like a thin form of water. And on a hot summer day, sometimes you see a hazy image. That just shows you that the atmosphere will distort images. And so also with all the high altitude footage, you never see the horizon drop like a ball would beneath you. The horizon seems to just rise up with you. It stays flat. It never drops beneath you because, like I said, in a ball it would be a 360 drop. So in all directions there should be an 8-inch drop for every mile square, and that's pretty significant. And so for all you science lovers, you're going to have to confront your science overlords and ask them why their globe earth math doesn't add up and why there isn't any curvature measurable. And also while you're at it, ask your science overlords, how can water curve over an object? And ask them to demonstrate water curving as it's laying in a large body of water. And we're not talking about a little droplet on a table or a droplet that's a circular shape, because water in massive amounts behaves much differently than a water droplet. And that's just the facts.
Today we're faced with a huge plague and global epidemic, commonly known to the enlightened as mental slavery. Some of you people may have heard the term, some of you not. Now, hearing the term is one thing, but understanding the term, its origins and objectives is completely another. Understanding, combating, and never falling victim to mental slavery is what truly makes you amongst the enlightened. Now, ask me, what is mental slavery and the biggest tool used to enslave the mind? Well, mental slavery is when your mind is conditioned to think and believe in a certain way without any resistance, doubts, or debates arising from your conscience, presenting a sense of normalcy and acceptance to everyday life when in fact there is a lot in today's world that should be refuted, fought against, and brought to the light. But yet, the masses are still sleeping. While falling deeper into mental slavery, the shackles are getting tighter every day. Now ask me another question. How is this being achieved? One word: Distraction, ladies and gentlemen. Distraction. The masses believe that they're living a normal life, but in reality they're just mentally enslaved and distracted from the horrific irregularities occurring in our own backyards, as well as the everyday injustices taking place globally. Now that I gave you a brief understanding about mental slavery,
mental slavery, mental slavery, mental slavery.
You see that? If you listen to me say mental slavery enough times, I bet my life that you'd be repeating it at the most random moments of your day without thinking much of why you're repeating it. Keep that in mind while I continue. Let's talk about the tools they use in order to capture the minds of the common people. That includes the kids, the teenagers, the grown folks, the elderly. Everybody is spellbound, and I'm sure you're wondering who they are. They are the elite. I'm not saying Illuminati, Freemasons, or any other known organizations. I'll leave that to your imagination. However, we can probably all agree that there is an elite organization that wants to control the world and its people. But how? What are the tools that they've created, are creating, and use to turn us into the walking dead? Let's start with a huge one: entertainment. Most people think that movies, cartoons, dramas were created just for entertainment purposes. They're sadly mistaken and have been terribly fooled. It never was created for that purpose. The most influential messages are promoted and embedded in our minds through these various forms of film. The type of process and the way it affects our minds has an actual term called emotive sequences. So the word emotive basically means something that arouses intense feeling or something directed towards the emotions. Now, when watching fictional movies in particular, emotional sequences are being exposed to you, which then begin to be implanted in the mind. While watching a movie, your mental guard is down, relaxed, and in an alpha state, which only leaves room for your brain to absorb the content being pushed. It's not like entering a debate where you're set to agree or disagree. In other words, your brain is set to only download, 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 download the content being fed. Again, this occurs when your brain is in alpha state, leaving your mind vulnerable.
Many of us and many other people in many places have speculated on the meaning of this first landing on another body in space. Would each of you give us your estimate of what is the meaning of this to all of us?
You want to try that? Can't forget.
That's how fake what they're showing us is. That it is fake because it's fake. And they're going to continue to fake it until they're gone. They must only exist to perpetrate the fraud. That's their entire goal.
We've been lied to. I will not be fooled by aliens coming because there are no aliens. There's no space.
It's bottom of the barrel garbage. I don't see anything that tells me that we've been outside of low Earth orbit. So if that's the case, then that means that they can only get so high and they might be able to fly around at that height. But after that, everything from that point, and if you want to know that point, watch any space launch video. It's the point where the camera switches. Simple. So many people believe things that they've never done research on because it seems to be matter of fact.
You have to use your own imagination as to what the world might be because we were lied to about what it is. My imagination isn't trying to deceive me.
This world is very different from what most people think it is.
Rise up, look at that great cosmic light and think about it. That gets up in the eastern horizon every morning and moves across the sky with a kind of symphony of motion and paints its technicolor across the blue, a light that man can never make.
Very simple indeed to just silence everybody, put an end to this topic once and for all, turn Hubble round and show us Earth in real time, zooming in onto a place so that we can see what's happening at that place, and we know that there is something up there looking down on us from space. But they will not do it. They can't do it. It doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist.
The same guys that fake 6 moon missions, the greatest human achievement of all mankind, they fake 6 of them, and this is where I thought we had like scientists just fucking, oh, there's all these scientists with their telescopes and they're looking, and that's what I thought. I go, what about all the scientists? Yeah, all these scientists, they're looking at telescopes. That's what I thought. But they're all looking at telescopes, all these scientists. They're looking at telescopes. And then you find out they're not fucking looking at it. The same motherfuckers who fake 6 moon missions, these are the same guys that are giving us all our information on space. Right there, I'm like, oh, they're lying to us. Everything they're saying to us, they're lying to us. Everything is a lie. They're all saying, but the information about space, no, that's true. I get that. That's true. No, it's fucking all bullshit. All you got to do is look into it, and you're going to realize that it's all bullshit. All bullshit. All the information on space, bullshit. Can you name 5 scientists and that are alive? Name 5 scientists that are alive. I'm waiting.
This next question comes from Twitter user Aku, who asks, any estimations on how old these discovered exoplanets are?
Yeah, the age of the star and the system itself is poorly constrained. We know it's not very young. It doesn't show signs of youngness, so it's at least 500 million years old. But we can't say more because these ultra-cool dwarf stars, they evolve super slowly. Their lifetime is 1,000 times larger than for a sun-like stars. So we don't see them evolving, so we can't constrain their ages.
All right, this next question comes from Facebook Live here. What is the distance between these 3 planets? Is it something like 500,000 kilometers? And what is the distance between E and the star?
Oh, the distance between the planets are a few times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. So we're talking about something like millions of kilometers and not hundreds of millions of kilometers for an Earth around a sun-like star. And for the planet F, or E, the distance is something like 5% the distance between the Earth and the Sun. So it's much, much closer to its star.
I think it's important that everybody does their own research, and I try to point that out as often as possible, and I try to say it as often as I can, because if you ever are listening to what someone's telling you, or you're watching me point out space fakery or what I think is a hoax, I'm doing that to kind of get you on your way. But all of space traveling is fake. All of outer space and the way that we've been taught it, planets and nebulas, is completely different than we've been taught. And that realization ultimately comes with looking into this stuff yourself. People think space is what they've been told because they've been told. And that goes for scientists, that goes for professors, to look into the things that they're teaching. To tell children that they're spinning on a ball is an extraordinary claim. And to say that we're flying through space and that the atmosphere sticks with Earth sounds like extraordinary claims. Sounds like it's just ad hoc explanations for things that we would see on a spinning ball that we don't see because it's not spinning and it's not a ball. If they found out that what they're teaching is a lie, they would all stop tomorrow. And so I think that the main point of what I'm trying to say is going to be the importance behind actually doing your own research and showing NASA to be the fraud that they are. Because of the education that we were given, and because of the indoctrination, and because of every TV show and video and commercial and logo. If you're about the truth, if you care about actually talking about what things are true, and you actually respect people who are willing to speak out about that, then you will come to the realization eventually that we've been lied to, on the largest possible scale. But I also know 100% one thing, and that's that they're hiding God. Without a doubt, in my mind, that is the reason for this all. And like you said, people are getting paid to do it.
Students' claim is reigniting the debate about prayer in schools. The high schooler says an administrator kept her from praying before she ate her lunch.
Running back Pedro Banda scored the touchdown that would send his team to the playoffs for the first time. But what Pedro did next got him kicked out of the game and put his football future in jeopardy. He pointed his hand to the sky and thanked God.
When we say public schools, what we really mean is government schools. We have given to the government the role of educating our children. I think that's a bad idea. Very bad idea. Very bad idea.
Students all across America, thousands and thousands of students who are learning. They're learning about space flight.
Wouldn't that be nice? Can you believe that space is going to do that?
NASA does what they can to teach you about something you'll never experience. And they force it down your throat as if it is part of your experience. And people have adopted it as if space travel is part of their experience, as if orbits are part of your experience, as if satellites are part of your experience. Because of the research I've done, that clearly shows me that these things are not legit. And I think people need to really take the time to look into satellites, for instance, just as an example. That, yeah, we're told satellites exist. We're told what they do. And if I say they don't exist and somebody makes a video and says, well, right here, you can go to this website and it says right here the satellites exist and what they do. If it's a deception, well then, no shit, Sherlock. If you go check out a web page that's about satellites, then you're not going to find the deception there. It's something that people just don't do. They don't demand proof of things that we're told. That's the problem. It is absolutely a joke to be shown CGI images, to be shown black and white images of Saturn's rings. It's a joke. It is absolutely the worst thing I've ever seen because of what it does to the minds of people. And science should always be about moving towards the truth. And science should never be settled. It should never be settled science. And it should always be open for question. It should always be open for new evidence to come along. And that's not the science we're given today. We live in the world. We see with our eyes every day. You can recognize what's real, what's real, what's real. And what's not, and what's not, and what's not. I'm not going to adopt something as my belief until I've done the research behind it. And you understand that, and you recognize the power behind research and investigation.